the gospel that has been provided for us. It's very appropriate as we see these martyrs, Saint John de Brébeuf and Isaac Jogues and their companions, as they go out and proclaim here to the natives. And you can see how they are being impelled or compelled by the Holy Spirit to proclaim this good news in this part of this continent. Their pictures or the pages are over there in that montage of all the American saints. Now, you can see that they're there, including Catherine Witha, and so on. And you can see that that retablo is no different from the Spanish retablo over here. Same idea, all the saints put together in one after the other, all together. So, at times we think, oh, different, the culture is so far apart, they're so close, same. So it's very nice. So it's good to hear then how the church recognizes these saints and how their struggles in the new land and what they were able to accomplish. Let me see what it reminds us here for, according to the, it says, French Jesuit and Oblate missionaries to the Hurons and Iroquois of North America from 1642 to 1649, so that's 7 years. Isaac was tomahawked to death by Iroquois on 18th of October 1646 near Albany, where the capital of New York, Albany. John was savagely mutilated and slain on March 16 of 1649 near Georgian Bay. Other martyrs were Anthony Daniel, Gabriel Lallemont, Sister Lamy, Charles Garnier, Noël Chabanet, and Oblates René Goupil and Jean de Lalonde, secondary patrons of Canada. My goodness, René Goupil. And he had a classmate, that name. Wow.
He was a surgeon and the first to be martyred. He was a layman.
He was a layman, huh? Okay. What else do you have in there, Sister?
Well, it says the first Jesuits arrived in Quebec in 1625, and initially their work was with the French settlers and traders and evangelizing the nearby Indians. Soon they extended their missionary efforts to the Huron Nation, about 800 miles west of Quebec, about 100 miles north of present-day Toronto. In Huronia, the first Jesuit missionaries visited the scattered Indian villages and were welcomed by several Indian families with whom they lived. As their missionaries' efforts to the Hurons proved successful, more missionaries arrived, and they decided to construct a Christian settlement in Huronia, where Indian converts and the missionaries could live. In 1639, they began building Sainte Marie. The first dwelling was a single bark-covered Huron-style cabin that housed 10 Jesuits and 5 workmen. Sainte Marie grew to a fortified village with a residence for 27 priests and 39 French laborers, a church, storehouses for food and equipment, a hospital, and living quarters for visiting Indians. During the first years, the missions prepared hundreds of Indians for baptism and began constructing churches in Huron villages. But the hostile Iroquois nation to the southeast soon became a very serious threat, ambushing the supply route between Huronia and Quebec. In 1642, Father Isaac Jogues and René Goupil were captured on a return trip from Quebec. Father Goupil was martyred while making the sign of the cross on a child, and Father Jogues had his fingers eaten and was enslaved. Though he escaped and returned to France, he came back to North American mission and was martyred in 1646 in present-day New York. By 1648, the Iroquois invaded Huronia. They destroyed several villages, including Teanastai, where Father Anthony Daniel was martyred. That winter, more than 6,000 homeless Hurons would find temporary shelter and food at St. Marie. In March of '49, the Iroquois captured Father Jean Brébeuf and Gabriel Lallemont about 3 miles from St. Marie and took the priest to St. Ignace, where they tortured and killed him. And as my memory serves me, the dates are 1 day apart. Jean Brébeuf on the 16th of March, and as Gabriel was with him, he had to watch it all, and they did the same to him the next day. By May of 1649, I'm sorry, yeah, sorry, by May, 15 Huron villages had been destroyed, and the survivors fled to St. Marie or neighboring tribes. Jesuits, realizing the St. Marie could not withstand an attack from the Iroquois, burned the settlement, sought safety on St. Joseph Island with the remaining Christian Indians. There they endured a winter plagued by starvation and disease. So in December '49, 2 more priests, Father Charles Garnier and Noel Chardonnel, were martyred. In the summer of 1650, surviving priests with about 300 Indians left Huronia, and after a 49-day journey found sanctuary in Quebec.
Okay, we got more than enough.
More than you ever wanted to know.
Anybody good work there, Dr. Martin.
And just
But I heard lollymont in there.
that's the one we want.
Yes.
And then one thing to keep in mind, that's too bad that we don't have the story from their side.
That's
We
right.
only have it from our side.
That's right.
And I learned this because in the Aztec world, at least even though when they were vanquished, we always had a story written in their own language, in their own way, and you can read it again from another perspective and say, there is always another side of the story. So, but let us then continue with our liturgy, and it says, "Go and teach all nations," says the Lord. "I am always with you until the end of the world." And that is how that prophecy has been fulfilled.